When these niggas cheat, all we got to do is keep waking up. As long as we keep waking up, this shit right here gonna stay active. Now,
we have new information about the deadly shooting of a pregnant woman in Tallahassee yesterday. Arrest papers say she was the suspect's girlfriend. Jha'kari Martin-Sugrin told investigators that he and Mya Johnson were arguing at their home on River Breeze Lane. He said he grabbed some of his belongings and was trying to leave when the gun went off. He claims the gun was not in his hand, but pinned against his body. The gunshot killed Johnson and her unborn child. Martin-Sugrin is facing 2 counts of manslaughter.
On October 22, 2024, in Tallahassee, Florida, 26-year-old Mya D. Johnson was found critically wounded at her home on River Breeze Lane in North Leon County and later pronounced dead at a local hospital where her unborn child also succumbed to fatal injuries. Law enforcement identified 22-year-old Jha'kari Martin-Sugrin as the individual who transported the injured Johnson to medical care and was subsequently taken into custody. According to official reports from the Leon County Sheriff's Office, the fatal shooting followed an argument at the residence with 2 young children present during the events. Initial statements from involved parties diverged on how the gun was discharged. Martin-Sugrin was charged with manslaughter and firearm offenses in connection with both deaths, but prosecutors did not pursue a murder indictment. The conflicting narratives, presence of minors, and legal decisions surrounding charges raise fundamental questions about intent, accountability, and the pursuit of justice in this case. This is Facebook Crime. We deliver clear, factual, and up-to-date true crime stories. Subscribe and turn on notifications to stay informed on the latest cases and investigations. Mya D. Johnson was a 26-year-old woman residing in Tallahassee, Florida. At the time of her death, she was pregnant. Public records and law enforcement reports indicate she lived at the River Breeze Lane residence where the shooting occurred. Johnson was a mother, and 2 young children were present in the home on the night of the incident. Details regarding her employment, daily routine, or long-term plans were not fully disclosed in initial reports, but investigators confirmed she was in the early stages of pregnancy. The presence of children in the home played a significant role in how the case was handled by authorities, particularly in evaluating witness accounts and assessing the broader impact of the incident. No prior public reports indicated ongoing legal disputes or active protective orders associated with Johnson before the shooting. The accused, Jha'kari Martin-Sugrin, was 22 years old at the time of the incident. Law enforcement identified him as having a close personal relationship with Johnson. Investigators confirmed he was present inside the residence when the shooting occurred and was the individual who transported Johnson to the hospital following the incident. The nature of their relationship became a focal point during the investigation. Authorities reported that the 2 were involved in an argument shortly before the shooting. While the precise cause of the argument was not publicly disclosed, it was characterized as a verbal dispute that escalated rapidly. During the early hours of October 22, emergency personnel were alerted after Mya arrived at a local hospital suffering from a gunshot wound. Hospital staff notified law enforcement upon recognizing the severity of her injuries and the circumstances under which she was brought in. Despite medical intervention, Johnson was pronounced dead at the hospital. Medical professionals also confirmed that her unborn child did not survive. Following standard protocol, investigators began tracing the origin of the incident back to the River Breeze Lane residence. Law enforcement secured the home as a potential crime scene and initiated an investigation, including interviews with those present and the collection of physical evidence. According to arrest documents, Martin-Sugrin provided a statement to investigators regarding how the firearm discharged. He claimed that the shooting was accidental and occurred as he was attempting to gather his belongings and leave the residence following the argument.
He stated that the firearm was not in his hand, but was positioned between his arm and torso when it discharged. Investigators noted inconsistencies between this account and other evidence collected at the scene. These inconsistencies included the positioning of the individuals involved, the trajectory of the bullet, and the circumstances described by witnesses. Authorities did not publicly disclose all forensic details, but indicated that the physical evidence did not fully align with the explanation provided. The presence of 2 children in the home further complicated the investigation. Due to their age, details of their statements, if any were obtained, were not publicly released. Child welfare agencies were notified as part of standard procedure. Law enforcement executed search warrants at the residence to collect evidence, including the firearm involved in the shooting. Forensic specialists conducted ballistics testing, gunshot residue analysis, and scene reconstruction to determine how the weapon was fired. An autopsy was conducted on Johnson, confirming the cause of death as a gunshot wound. Medical examiners also documented injuries sustained by the unborn child, which were determined to be fatal as a result of the same incident. Investigators reviewed the firearm's ownership, condition, and history. They also examined whether standard firearm safety mechanisms were engaged at the time of discharge. These findings contributed to the decision to pursue criminal charges. Martin-Sugrin was taken into custody following the investigation. Prosecutors charged him with 2 counts of manslaughter in connection with the deaths of Mya Johnson and her unborn child. Additional charges included possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. The decision to pursue manslaughter rather than murder charges reflected the prosecution's assessment of the available evidence, intent standards under Florida law, and the legal definition of reckless or negligent conduct resulting in death. During initial court appearances, bond conditions were addressed, and Martin-Sugrin was released under specific restrictions, including electronic monitoring. The case proceeded through pre-trial phases, with prosecutors and defense attorneys preparing arguments based on forensic findings, witness statements, and statutory interpretations. The defense maintained that the shooting was accidental, emphasizing the absence of intent. Prosecutors focused on the handling of the firearm, the circumstances of the argument, and the responsibility associated with possessing a weapon during a domestic dispute. As the case progressed, additional legal scrutiny was placed on whether firearm safety protocols were followed and whether the accused acted recklessly under Florida law. This case drew attention to issues surrounding domestic disputes involving firearms, particularly when children are present. Florida law allows for separate charges related to the death of an unborn child, which influenced the structure of the prosecution's case. Legal experts noted that manslaughter cases often hinge on demonstrating negligence or reckless behavior rather than intent. The outcome of this case was expected to contribute to ongoing discussions on charging standards in domestic shooting incidents. Following the deaths, the focus shifted to the long-term impact on the children who were present during the incident and the families affected. Community members expressed concern about domestic safety and firearm access, though public statements from family members were limited. Several questions remained central to the case: the exact sequence of movements leading to the firearm's discharge, the credibility of the accidental shooting claim, and how the presence of children factored into decision-making at the time. As legal proceedings continue, the case remains under scrutiny by both the justice system and the public. The outcome will determine accountability for the deaths of Mya Johnson and her unborn child and may influence how similar cases are prosecuted in the future. Thanks for watching. Did you find this case informative? If you want more true crime stories, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications to stay informed on the latest cases and investigations.